Hi, and thank you for joining me on another episode of the Tech Exec podcast, where we triple impact per engineer and help you lead a team you're proud of leading, because life's too short to lead an average team. As always, I'm your host, Aviv Ben-Yosef, advisor and consultant to tech execs worldwide, and today we'll be talking about backwards motivation. This is something that I'm seeing all over the place, and it's sort of an epidemic right now because every good leader I'm working with essentially wants their people to be happy. We want to see people being motivated. We want to see people feeling content with their roles. And therefore, what too many of us are doing as part of that is contorting our organization to fit the motivation of the people we have. So you see all these weird titles, all these different roles that are made up just to make someone feel better about themselves. We see companies going and investing on useless projects or projects that are not useless, but right now are definitely not the priority, merely because we want our people to be happy, because we don't want people to feel bad, because we want them to feel like we're listening to them and we're trying to motivate them, right? However, my case in this short episode is that this is doing motivation backwards, because you should not be altering the business in order to make people happier, right? I'm a capitalist. I believe that a company should not exist if it is not delivering value to its customers. That's the definition of a good enterprise. If you don't care about that, if you want just people to be happy, go and set up, I don't know, a nonprofit for people who like to code. But if you're aiming to do something valuable in this universe, you cannot continuously change things just so they align with the motivation du jour of your people. Instead, let's turn things on their head and actually do this like we oughta. When you're hiring people, seek out the right motivation. Are they intrigued by the problem? Do they care about the product? Do they want to solve the problem you're solving? Are they excited to work with your team? Or are they just looking for spicing things up and making sure they can do some rust in their next role? Because if what they care about is the technology, and I've talked about the product tech continuum for engineers, if they are all the way on the side of the tech, what you're getting is basically a mercenary, a hired sword, who will not be able to adjust as things change. And unless you're certain your issues, your current structure is what will be needed for the next couple of years, and I don't think anyone can be certain nowadays, then you have to get people with more flexibility, who are motivated by the results, not by the cool, shiny tech they're using. Otherwise, you will not be able to continuously improve your team, adjust as things change, make your organization fit the business needs. So don't do motivation backwards. Think right now, how are you assessing the motivation of potential hires in your interview process? When you're talking to your current employees, are you suggesting that they come up with ways to be happier at work? Which, this is something that you can ask from time to time, but is this the only way of trying to help them grow? Or are you investing time in realizing that you've got a bunch of opportunities here, and let's see who is the most fitting person for each opportunity? Are you coming up to them with your own suggestions to help them grow, to show them what you believe is the right path for them? Are you connecting them to the results so they can actually be motivated by them? Because just because you, as an executive, might be getting the transparency and the visibility to the business results or to what customers are saying, don't take it for granted that others in the company have this knowledge. All too often, they do not. And you have to ensure that you're connecting them. Again, otherwise, you're going to see motivation lacking, dropping like a stone. And no matter how hard you're going to try to contort the organization, to bend yourself backwards, to make them happy, there will come a point where all this bending will no longer suffice and something's gonna snap. Don't say I didn't warn you. That's it for this week. Thank you for joining me. Do check out my books, my free community, my newsletter, all of them available in the links in the show notes. Thank you. See you here next week.